execution site. Executioners were already waiting there. Pits were already dug beforehand. Executioners told people to sit at the pits and listen to the announcement of Ankar. End of quote. You indicated in the statement that evacuees were told that they were being brought to see Ankar. When is it that they were told that, and who told them that they were being brought to see Ankar?
Only the village chief who told them that they were to go and meet Ankar.
So to clarify, this is something the village chief told the group of 20 people when you were leaving Trak Sangke village. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Now, you also indicate in the statement that I just read that when the people were taken away for execution, they were told to sit at the pits and to listen to the announcement of Ankar. My question to you is, were you able to hear what took place after this group of 10 people who were tied up were taken away? Were you able to hear what happened to them?
I was at a quite distance from them, about 30 meters. I heard it in a low voice, the countdown to 1 through 3, and then I walked away and I did not know what happened next.
In the same statement that I just read, you also made reference to grave pits that had been dug beforehand. How did you know that pits had been dug beforehand?
Witness, I decline to respond to this question. President, Duty Council, please take the floor. Duty Council, Mr. President, Your Honors, my client already responded that he wished to decline to respond to this question. President, witness, the last question is not the kind of questions that could incriminate you. The question is why you learned of that information, but you already responded to this question. And of course, the chamber already advised you of your obligation that you must respond to all the questions put to you. And Duty Council, please also advise your clients to do so. And you needed to discuss with your client if you think the question could incriminate your client. Witness, I replied that I did not know because I myself did not see those pits.
Thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Witness. How long were you at the execution site before you returned to Trak Sankei village?
I didn't stay long. I stayed for about 15 minutes and then I hurried to return.
Now, you've told us that in the group of 20 people that the village chief and you brought to the execution site, that you saw 10 of them tied up and taken away. The other 10 were not tied. Did any of the other 10 return with you when you went back to your village?
Those who were not tied up did not return. They were all taken.
And of those 10, how many were young children?
There were about 5 to 6 children.
Are you able to provide an estimate to the court of the total number of people who were killed at that execution site?
In total, there could be 70 to 80 people who were killed. President, Defense Counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could you please instruct the witness again not to speculate? He either knows it or he doesn't, and he should refrain from answering there could have been 60 or 70 or 80 people.
Mr. President, if I can follow up and find the basis for the witness's information, then I think we'll be in a much better position. Counsel's objections, again, are somewhat premature. The witness has been instructed. If I may proceed, I will clarify with the witness what information he has. Mr. Witness, in your interview, you describe an exhumation of the graves at the site that was conducted after January 1979. Can you tell us about what information you have regarding the exhumation or digging up of the graves in the area of this execution site that took place after January 1979?
While I walked my dog, I saw a pit that was dark as people were looking for gold. It was in the vicinity of Prayato Teng, and I saw the skeleton remains scattered everywhere there. It was to the west of the Dambray Srota prison, and that area was called Prey To Teng.
To clarify, is this the same location where the group of 20 people, where you brought the group of 20 people that you just described to us, or was this a different location?
The location where I took the people through, I did not see the pits there at the time, but only around 1981 or 82, while I was walking my dog, I saw the pits there, and they dug the pits in order to look for gold, and there were skeleton remains there.
Let me read to you from your interview and then follow up on that. This is D125/68. D125/68 at Khmer 00201484, English 00274646, and French 00338364. Your interview reads as follows, quote, after 1979, people came to exhume the graves over there in order to seek gold and valuable things. Question, please kindly describe the mass grave exhumation. Answer, at that time, people exhumed about 20 to 30 graves, in which there were about 700 to 800 dead bodies in total. Some graves have not been exhumed yet, so the total number of people who were killed there remains unknown. My question to you is, you told OCIJ, or provided an estimate of 700 to 800 dead bodies that were at these mass graves. Can you tell us how you came up with that number? What was the basis of that information?
I saw the pits, and in each pit there were between 20 to 30 skulls, and there were also several pits which had not been dug out.
Just to be sure I understand, you're saying that you saw approximately 20 to 30 scarves in each grave pit that had been dug up. And can you tell us how many, the total number of graves that you saw at the site?
I saw about 20 pits.
Thank you for that information, Mr. Lev Lam. Let me turn to a few different subject areas before I end my examination. The person that you have identified as a chief of the Svai Chuk commune, Nan. Do you know whether Nan was a relative of Noon Chea?
I do not know whether Nan was related to him, as Nan came from another village.
Did you know whether Nuon Chea had relatives who lived in Pim commune?
No, I don't.
I want to ask you now just a few questions relating to some other statements that have been provided by witnesses regarding executions in Kampong Tralik Lu district. With your leave, Mr. President, I'd like to provide two interviews to the witness, document D-125/93, D-125/93, and D-232/40, D-232/40. I will not read the names of these witnesses, and would also ask that the witness be instructed not to state the names of these witnesses. With your leave, I'd like to provide these statements to the witness at this time.
President, yes, you may do so. Court officer, could you deliver the document from the prosecution for the witness examination? And the witness, you are instructed not to reveal the name of the people in this document.
My first question for you, Mr. Lev Lam, and perhaps your counsel can assist you with this. If you could look at the names of the two people who gave these interviews without saying those names, can you tell us whether you know either of these people?
I do not know any of the two people named on these two documents.
Mr. Witness, in D-125/93, and the reference page is Khmer 00212084 through 85, English 00275128 through 29, and French 00293909 through 11. This witness describes how two female cadres from Svai Chuk commune, Ye Nan, the same person you have talked about, and another female cadre named Ye Pun, how these two cadres held a meeting at the Tamai Khmer Village Cooperative and conveyed, quote, orders of the upper level, pursuant to which 30 families of 17 April people, or Lon Nol soldiers, were taken away and killed at a site north of Tamai Khmer Village named Pre Sreval. Pre Sreval. The second statement I provided to you, D-232/40, 232/40 is the statement of a group leader from Tamai Khmer village who also confirms the executions of newly evacuated people at the same location, Prey, Sreval. My question to you is, do you know the sites that are indicated here, Tamai Khmer village and a place called Prey, Sreval? Do you know these sites, and did you hear any information regarding executions that took place at this location?
No, I don't. But I know Thmai Khmer village. I do not know Prey Srai Val, but I know another one, but not this one.
What is the other one that you know?
I know another Muslim village, or Cham village. It was known as Svai Paim.
Mr. President, I'd like to provide two more statements to the witness. These ones, D232/42, D232/42, and D232/63. With your leave, if I may present these documents to the witness.
Yes, you may do so. Court officer, could you deliver the documents from the prosecutor for the witness examination?
Mr. Witness, before you start looking at those documents, in regards to the location of the prior ones, Tamai Khmer village, was Tamai Khmer village, was it in Svai Chuk commune or some other commune?
Thmai Khmer village is located in Svai Chuk commune. That is south of Svai Chuk commune. Because Svai Chuk commune is divided into two, the north of Svai Chuk and the south of Svai Chuk.
Thank you. Now, if you could look at the two documents that were just provided to you, and without reading the names of these two witnesses, can you tell me whether you know either of these two individuals?
No, I do not know any of them.
In these two statements, Mr. Witness, these individuals who are from Tabang Kepus, and apologize if my pronunciation isn't good. These witnesses describe the arrival of 17 April evacuees from Phnom Penh, including Wa Nol officials and soldiers, who were held at the Tabang Kapu pagoda and then taken away for execution at 3 sites that they identify. And if you look at answer 6 in interview D232/42, there are 3 execution sites that were identified by this witness. One, Kok Ronim. The second one, Trapiang Andon. And the third one, Trapiang Klung. My question to you is, are you familiar with any of these sites? And during the 1975 period, did you hear of executions at these locations?
No, I do not. I only know the one near my village. I did not know about other places at other villages.
Was there a commune in Kampong Tralak Lu district called Tebeng Kapu?
Yes, there was a Tebang Kapu commune, and there was also a pagoda by the name of Tebang Kapu.
And where was this commune in relation to Svai Chuk commune?
Tebang Kapu commune is at a far distance from the Svai Chuk commune. It was about 2 kilometers away, and it was on the other side of the railway track. And the distance between the two is about 2 kilometers.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. The last area that I want to ask you about, last subject matter, in a document that is before this chamber, E3/135, this is the June 1977 issue of a publication called Revolutionary Flag. It is announced in this document that Kampong Tralak Lu district had been selected by the Central Committee as one of the 3 model districts in the country for 1976 and awarded the honorary red flag. My question to you is, do you remember whether this was something that was announced to all people in the district, that Kampong Tralak Lu had been recognized as a model district and awarded the honorary red flag for 1976?
I was not quite sure about that.
My last question is whether at any time between April 1975 and January 1979, whether you were aware of any Khmer Rouge leaders coming to visit your district.
No, I was not aware of that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Witness, for answering my questions today. My colleague has just a few questions, and then we will. Sorry. Yeah, my colleague, national colleague, has a few questions for you, and then we will turn the floor to the civil parties. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Witness, I only have a few questions supplementary to what my colleague asked you. This morning you stated before this court that you joined a meeting chaired by Sron and Nan at the militia unit office in Trot Song Kai village, and you heard Sron made an instruction to select the former Lunal soldiers who had been evacuated to be killed. My question to you is, how did you know that the instruction by Sron was made by Sron himself, or did he receive the order from upper echelon? Answer. I heard Sron stating to that effect while I was nearby. I heard his voice speaking about that, and that's what I stated in my record. Thank you. My question, in fact, is that besides that, did you know by any other means, for example, that you were told that instruction was ordered from another level to Sron, or you did not know about that? Answer. No, I did not know about that. Because I did not see any other upper echelon coming to tell him, I only heard the decision made by Sron. Thank you. Question. You also testified before this court that Sron was the district committee. Did you know who were the sector or the zone committees? Answer. I only heard the names, but I never saw them. I heard of the sector committee, which was about the district committee, and the sector committee was Ta Sarun. I never met him in person. Question. Besides Ta Sarun, did you know of any other people within the sector level or above the sector level? For example, the zone level? Answer. As for the zone committee, I never heard about them. I never heard of any name of people who were at the zone level. I only heard of Ta Sarun as I stated, but I never met him in person, and I heard that he was at the sector level.
Thank you. Now, regarding the meetings in which you heard or you knew that Sron and Nan were the chairpersons, can you tell the chamber, please, when did these meetings take place? Did they take place before people evacuated to your area? Response. The meetings were convened after the 17th of April had already arrived. Question. Thank you. Were you aware whether there were any meetings like evacuation management meeting, the meeting prepared for receiving these people? Response. I don't know. Question. Thank you. On another point, before the co-investigators. And the document D125/68, you stated that people in Phnom Penh had been forced to leave the city. Some had been forced to come to this area. Many of them end up being killed there. For reference, this document can be referred to document Khmer ERN 00201484, English 00274646, French ERN 00338363. My question is, how did you know people in Phnom Penh were forced to leave the city, or how did you obtain such information? Response: I saw evacuees from Phnom Penh and from Kampong Chnang, whether they had been forced to leave the cities or not. That's not to my knowledge. I just saw them coming to my area. Question: thank you. This is going to be my final question. This morning, you testified that after receiving instructions from Sron, Nant had to take record of the biographies of the 17th of April people for the purpose of execution. And you said that immediately after the 17th of April 1975, you had been working as a militiaman, working with Nan. Now, can you tell the chamber what kind of tasks did Nan give you to treat the evacuees? Response: Nan did not use me personally. I worked at the office and I was engaged in climbing up the palm trees to collect the palm juice. That's all. Co-prosecutor: thank you, Mr. Witness. I have no further questions. And thank you, Mr. President and Your Honors. We believe that our questioning can also help ascertain the truth. The President, thank you. We would like to now hand over to counsels for the civil parties to put some questions to this witness.
Oui, merci, Monsieur le Président. Du côté des...
Thank you, Mr. President. On the civil party side, it is Counsel Beninier who's going to be asking the questions.
Good morning, Your Honors. Good morning to everyone in around the courtroom. Good morning, Mr. Leo Lam. My name is Beini Ye. I'm one of the international civil party lawyers, and I have just a few follow-up questions for you. I want to focus on the time period between the 17th April 1975 and June 1975. You said earlier this morning that in this time period, you saw evacuees from Kampong Chnang and from Phnom Penh arriving around 1 week after the 17th April 1975. Can you give us an estimate of how many evacuees you saw arriving at that time?
Response: I saw about 200 to 300 families only, because other evacuees could have been put to live in other villages. So in my village, I saw about 200 to 300 families.
Thank you. When you say families, how many people would make up a family?
Response. To call a family, there must be at least about 5 to 6 people.
Thank you. And these evacuees who arrived, in what transportation did they arrive in?
Response. Some were seen pushing carts, some were walking and carrying some belongings, including mattresses, rather the mats and also the kitchen utensils.
Thank you. And can you please describe the condition of the people who arrived from the cities?
Response. People had problem finding enough food to eat because there was not enough rice for them.
Thank you. And did you observe any health problems or health issues among these evacuees?
Response. Some were sick, but they were compelled to keep moving.
Thank you. And when they arrived, was there any food or medicine provided to these evacuees?
Response. Neither food nor medicine was provided to these people, although requests were made because these people had no more food to eat. Then a few cans of rice would then be offered to them just to deal with this problem, but there was no medicine.
Thank you. And how did the villagers, the base people, react to the arrival of so many evacuees?
Response. The base people had sympathy toward these newcomers, and sometimes they had to share with them some rice and vegetable.
Thank you, Mr. Leolam. Now I would like to come to a new topic. You said earlier that you were ordered to take people to the execution site, and among the group that you took were 5 to 6 young children. My question is, were the parents of these children also in the same group with you?
Response. These people were in the same group when their parents would bring them together.
Thank you. And do I understand it correctly that these children were the children of former Lon Nol soldiers and former Lon Nol officials, that wrote their biographies before being taken away?
Response. After their biographies had been obtained, they would be taken away.
Thank you. And apart from your group that you took to the execution sites, were there any other groups that were taken in this manner to the execution sites by other militia?
Response. This place was there already, and then people had to be sent, and some people were tricked to go to this location. Several families were tricked, and the others just followed.
Can you please explain what you mean by being tricked?
Response. I said they were tricked because they said that the families would be sent to live in a new village, but after all, it was not that they were not sent to the village. Finally, they were sent for execution.
Thank you. And among these other families who were tricked and who were also sent to the execution site, were there also children?
Response. Yes, the whole family, including their children, and no other outsiders would be brought with them. The whole family would be brought to the execution site.
Thank you. And on the way, when you were taking this group, your group, to the execution site, can you describe the behavior of the people that you took there?
Response. Some people were taking the lead in bringing them to the site, and people did not engage in any conversation until the time when they were brought to that place.
And did these victims express any reaction when they were tied up and led away from your group?
Response. The message was that these people were instructed to be tied up because they had to meet Angkar to get some food. Without having them being tied up, then they would not be allowed to meet Angkar for some food. That's why they had to be tied up.
Thank you. I was rather asking about the reaction of the people who were tied up, of the victims.
Response. These people did not protest or react very much because they had to allow these people to tie them up.
Thank you. Now, you said earlier on that Sron classified the biographies in two categories, one of capitalist Lon Nol soldiers and Lon Nol officials who later on disappeared, and the other one in peasants category. My question is, what happened to the category or to the people who fell under the category of peasants?
Response. People who said they were peasants, they did farming, they then would be allowed to be in the same place, and when the Vietnamese arrived, they were also allowed to go back to their hometown.
Thank you. Now, you said you saw 200 to 300 families arriving from Kampong Chnang and Phnom Penh. How many of these families did you see going or being brought to the execution site?
Response. I saw about 100 families.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. And my last question is, how did you feel when you heard about the death of your uncle at that time?
Response. It was painful mentally to hear about his death, but I couldn't speak it out. It was more emotional feeling, but I couldn't say so.
Thank you, Mr. Leo Lam. I'm sorry for your loss, and I thank you very much for answering all my questions. I have no further questions, and I wish you a safe journey back home.
The President. Thank you, Counsel, and thank you, Witness. It is now already appropriate moment for the adjournment. The Chamber will adjourn until 1:30 p.m. Court officer is now directed to assist the witness and his jury counsel during the adjournment and have them return to the courtroom before the next session resumes at 1:30 p.m. And security personnel are now directed to bring Mr. Khieu Samphan down to his holding cell downstairs and have him return to the courtroom at 1:30 p.m. The court is adjourned.